What if I told you that the dream you had last night, the one that felt too real, too vivid, too emotional, wasn't a dream at all? What if the person you saw, the one who's no longer in this world, actually came to you? I know how unbelievable that sounds. I know the logical mind pushes back instantly. It was just my imagination, just my grief, just my subconscious. But what if Edgar Cayce, the most documented clairvoyant in history, proved something entirely different? What if your dreams are not illusions, but visitations? Let me take you somewhere for a moment. 3 years ago, I had one of those dreams myself. Someone I loved more than life had passed away suddenly. And for months afterward, sleep felt like stepping into a cold, empty universe. Until one night. In the dream, I was in the old kitchen of my childhood home. The peeling wallpaper, the wooden cabinets, the window where the morning sun always spilled in. Then she walked in, not as she looked in her final days. Not sick, not tired, but radiant, whole, smiling in a way I hadn't seen since I was a child. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Just her presence felt like stepping into warm light. When I woke up, the pillow was wet with tears I hadn't even realized I shed. And the feeling, the certainty, that she really had been with me lingered long after the sun came up. I thought I was losing my mind, until I found Edgar Cayce's readings. And what he revealed changed my understanding of dreams forever. Cayce said that dreams are not just subconscious noise. They are the doorway, the crossing point between dimensions. He explained something stunning. When the physical mind sleeps, the soul wakes. And when the soul wakes, it can meet others, both living and departed, without the limits of the physical world. According to Cayce, this is not metaphor. This is literal. And the shock comes here. The easiest and most natural way for a departed soul to reach the living is through dreams. Edgar Cayce reading 4147 to 1 Cayce insisted that some dreams are absolutely real encounters, actual meetings between souls, because in sleep, you're operating in the same dimension where the departed now exist. And when a departed loved one needs to tell you something, when they need to comfort you, warn you, or give you peace, they come in dreams first, not last, not occasionally, first, because that is the only place where your grief, your doubt, your fear cannot block them. If you've ever had a dream that felt heavy checkmark more real than waking life, heavy checkmark impossible to forget, heavy checkmark filled with emotion that didn't fade, heavy checkmark like a message was being given to you, heavy checkmark like a reunion, not a dream, then stay with me. Because Edgar Cayce explained exactly what those dreams mean. And in the next part, we're going to step right into the realm where those messages are formed, the place Cayce called the borderland. Edgar Cayce called it the borderland, a strange, luminous space between the physical world and the spiritual realms. Not heaven, not earth, but the doorway between them. And according to Cayce, this is where every real visitation dream takes place. Let's go deeper. Cayce explained that when your physical body sleeps, something extraordinary happens. Your conscious mind shuts down. Your ego loosens its grip, and your soul steps forward. He said the soul moves freely during sleep, not bound by gravity, not slowed by the brain, not restricted by the senses. It becomes what it truly is, a conscious, living beam of awareness capable of touching other dimensions. And this is the moment, this exact moment, when a departed loved one can reach you. Not because they suddenly appear where you are, but because you drift into the place they now exist. A realm of thought, a realm of light, a realm where communication doesn't happen with mouths or ears, but with energy, with pure feeling. Years ago, a woman asked Cayce why she kept dreaming of her deceased father. The dreams were vivid. She felt his hand on her shoulder. She smelled his aftershave. He warned her about making a financial mistake. When she asked Cayce whether these dreams were just memories, he responded with one of his most profound revelations. Dreams of the departed are not dreams, but experiences of the soul. Reading 1366 to 1 experiences. Not coping mechanisms, not hallucinations, not fantasy, actual encounters. And Cayce said there are 3 reasons a departed soul crosses into the borderland to speak with you. 1. To comfort you, especially in the early days after their passing. When your grief is raw, when you feel broken, they come to soothe your heart in ways waking life cannot. In the borderland, you feel their love as clearly as touch. You feel their peace even if you can't feel your own. You feel their continued existence, and that alone can save you. 2. To deliver a message, sometimes a warning, sometimes encouragement, sometimes simply reminding you they're okay. Cayce said messages delivered through dreams bypass our doubts. Our waking minds might reject their presence, but in the borderland our souls recognize truth instantly. 3. Because you called them. This is the part that stops people cold. Cayce said that deep grief acts like a spiritual signal, a call that echoes into the higher realms. When your heart cries out for them, they feel it, they hear it, and often they come, not out of obligation, but out of love, because love is the only force strong enough to cross realms. But here's where Cayce's discovery becomes astonishing. Your loved one doesn't appear in the borderland the way you last saw them. Not sick, not frail, not broken. Cayce said the soul presents itself in its truest form, healthy, radiant, whole. That's why in visitation dreams, they look younger. They glow. They smile with a kind of peace you never saw in life. Because you're not seeing their memory. You're seeing who they are now, who they became the moment they stepped out of their physical body. Most people don't know this. Most people think dreams are just the brain replaying memories, grief, or stress. But Cayce said something radically different. Something that turns the entire idea of dreaming upside down. The soul knows when it meets another soul. It doesn't matter if you forget the dream later. It doesn't matter if your logical mind tries to dismiss it. It doesn't matter if people around you call it imagination. Your soul recognizes truth long before your mind does. So how do you know when a dream wasn't a dream at all, but an actual visit? Cayce gave 4 unmistakable markers. Let's walk through them slowly, because once you see them, you'll never unsee them again. 1. The atmosphere changes. A real visitation dream has a different feeling from the first moment. The colors are brighter. The air feels charged. You feel aware in a way you never do in normal dreams. As if you're awake inside the dream. People who've had these experiences say the same thing. It felt more real than real life. That's because, according to Cayce, your soul is perceiving, not your brain's imagination. 2. Their appearance is radiant. Not broken here is the detail almost every grieving person mentions. In visitation dreams, the departed don't appear sick. They don't appear fragile. They don't appear the way they looked in their final moments. Cayce said the soul presents itself in the form of its highest vitality, often younger, glowing, peaceful, restored. You're not seeing their past. You're seeing their present. 3. Their message is clear, direct, and emotional. Normal dreams are chaotic. Scenes shift. Logic dissolves. Nothing stays consistent. But a visitation? It's focused, intentional, purposeful. The departed says exactly what they came to say, sometimes with words, sometimes with touch, sometimes with emotion so strong it bypasses speech entirely. You know they're talking to you, even if their mouth never moves. Because communication in the borderland is soul to soul. 4. You wake up feeling something profound. This is the biggest marker of all. When you wake from a normal dream, it fades like mist. You forget it by breakfast. But a visitation? It lingers. You wake up with tears on your face, or warmth in your chest, or a peace you can't explain, or a shock so deep you sit upright in bed. Some people say they wake up smiling. Others say they wake up sobbing, but in relief, not pain. And Cayce insisted on this. The soul remembers what the mind forgets. Even if the details slip away, the feeling stays. Because the meeting was real. But here is where things get even more remarkable. Cayce said the way your loved one appears reveals why they came, and what they're trying to tell you. Most people think visitation dreams are random, that their loved one just showed up. But according to Edgar Cayce, there is always a reason. A soul doesn't cross the veil unless the moment matters. Cayce said there are 4 core purposes behind every real visitation dream. And once you understand them, you begin to see that your loved one didn't visit by accident. They visited because your soul called to them. Let's open these sacred reasons one by one. 1. They come when your heart is breaking in silence. One of Cayce's most haunting insights was this. When the living suffers alone, the departed feels it first. Not their guardian angel, not a spirit guide, not even God. Them. The soul bonded to you in life can feel the energetic collapse in your heart. So when you've reached a breaking point, when you cry quietly so nobody hears, when your chest aches like something inside you is tearing, when you say, I can't do this anymore, their soul moves toward you instantly. They come into your dream because your suffering calls them like a beacon across the veil. Not to save you, but to hold you. 2. They come because you haven't been hearing the signs while awake. This is the one Cayce repeated again and again. Souls try the subtle things first, a whisper at night, a scent in the room, a flicker of light, a memory that appears out of nowhere. But if you're overwhelmed, numb, or drowning in grief, you miss those signals. So what do? They come into your dreams. Because it's the one place where your walls are down. Cayce said, when the mind sleeps, the soul listens. This is why so many people say, I haven't dreamed of them since they passed. And then suddenly, one night, there they were. It's not sudden. It's a message that finally found an open door. 3. They come to correct your painful misunderstandings. This one is tender and hard. Cayce saw countless souls come through to say one thing. Stop blaming yourself. People carry agonizing regrets after a loved one dies. I should have called. I should have visited. I should have noticed. I should have done more. But the soul who crossed over has no blame in them. No anger. No resentment. They see the whole picture now, far more than you ever could in life. So they come into dreams not to judge, but to heal the part of you that refuses to forgive yourself. They come to give you back what grief stole from you. 4. They come to give one final permission you haven't allowed yourself. This is the most profound reason of all. Cayce said that a soul will often appear in a dream when the living is stuck at a threshold, afraid to move on, afraid to love again, afraid to start over, afraid to live fully because they think it's disrespectful. But the departed see the truth from the other side. They come to give you permission you have denied yourself. It's okay to live without me. It's okay to be happy again. You are not betraying me by healing. I want you to continue. No guilt. No weight. Just love. Edgar Cayce said something astonishing. Something most people never hear. A soul never appears in a dream without choosing a form that carries a message. They don't just appear randomly. They choose how to show themselves to you. They choose the age, the clothing, the setting, the facial expression, even the distance between you. And once you understand what these forms mean, your visitation dream suddenly becomes a conversation, one they've been trying to have with you since the moment they crossed over. Let's walk through the 5 most common forms, each one a doorway into what they were trying to tell you. 1. They appear younger than when they died. This is the form Cayce saw the most. A mother who passed at 83 appears at 40. A grandfather with dementia appears strong and steady. A child lost too soon appears radiant, ageless. Why? Because the soul shows itself in its prime spiritual expression, the age where it felt most alive, most whole, most itself. When you dream of them younger, they're telling you, this is who I truly am now. I'm healed. It's not nostalgia. It's revelation. 2. They wear clothing you recognize immediately. The flannel shirt, the blue dress, the uniform, the Sunday sweater, the favorite jacket they refuse to throw away. Cayce said familiar clothing is a deliberate symbol. They choose what will calm your heart first. Clothing becomes a bridge, a soft landing so you won't fear the encounter. They're saying, it's really me. You're not imagining this. Your soul knows the fabric before your mind accepts the moment. 3. They stay behind a doorway, gate, or threshold. This one confuses so many people. A loved one appears, but stands behind a window, or at the end of a hallway, or across a river, or on the other side of a door. Cayce said these dreams reveal something sacred. The soul is close, but cannot cross fully into your world. They're not distant emotionally. They're distant energetically. If the doorway is wide open, they're saying, I'm with you. I can reach you easily. If it remains partially closed, they're saying, I'm near you, but you must meet me halfway. The distance is the message. 4. They speak without moving their lips. This one gives people chills. In true visitation dreams, communication is often telepathic. You hear their voice, but their mouth never moves. Cayce explained why. Souls speak in feeling, not sound. The message you hear isn't carried by air, it's carried by presence. This is why their words in the dream feel more real than anything you've heard while awake. Their message isn't spoken, it's transmitted. 5. They don't speak at all. They just look at you. This is the most misunderstood form. People panic, saying, why didn't they talk? Are they upset? Are they stuck? No. Cayce made this perfectly clear. When a soul says nothing, it is saying the most. Silence means, I came only so you could feel me. Words would diminish what I'm trying to give you. A silent presence is the soul's highest form of reassurance. They're telling you, you are not alone. I'm still yours. And now we enter the most profound territory of all. There is a moment, and if you felt it, you will never forget it, when the dream stops being a dream and becomes something else entirely. A hand on your shoulder, fingers brushing your cheek, a hug so real it wakes you with tears already falling, the warmth of their body, the pressure of their arms around you, the feeling of someone sitting at the edge of your bed. Edgar Cayce said this phenomenon is not symbolic, and it is not imagination. It is the closest thing our world has to a crossing point between dimensions. Here is what he revealed. The soul can touch through the dream state because the body sleeps, but the spirit wakes. When we sleep, our physical body goes offline, but our etheric body, the energetic layer just beyond the physical, becomes open, receptive, exposed. We don't fall down into dreams. We rise up into the dimension where souls live. And in that higher space, touch is not skin to skin. It's energy to energy, heart to heart, memory to memory. Cayce said, a soul touches you where grief lives. The physical sensation is only the echo. This is why the hug feels real, why the hand feels warm, why the kiss on your forehead lingers. Long after you wake up, your body remembers the echo. Your soul remembers the contact. Why they touch you. Cayce revealed 3 reasons a departed soul reaches through the veil in dreams. 1. To calm a fear you haven't spoken aloud, not the fear you show the world, the secret ones you keep buried. The fear of being alone, the fear of forgetting their voice, the fear you're losing your connection. A touch from them is the soul's way of saying, you are safe. I'm still here. 2. To repair a wound left unspoken. Some souls visit to offer closure they couldn't give in life. A father who never said, I'm proud of you. A mother who left too soon. A partner you lost in the middle of an unresolved argument. A child you never got to hold long enough. Cayce said, touch is the language of forgiveness in the spirit world. 3. To help you survive the moment you're living right now. Souls know when you're drowning silently. They feel it. This is why so many people receive dream visits on nights they cry themselves to sleep, birthdays they spend alone, anniversaries they dread, or days they pretend they're fine but their heart is breaking. A touch becomes a lifeline, a whisper from the other side saying, keep going. I'm not finished loving you. And here is the most extraordinary part. When you wake up from a dream where they touched you, your body sometimes reacts as if the contact was real. A warm shoulder, tingling arms, tears already flowing, a sudden calmness, a feeling of someone just left the room. Cayce said. The body reacts because the soul experienced something true, not a dream, a meeting. There is a detail Edgar Cayce emphasized again and again, something most people overlook until they experience it themselves. When a departed loved one speaks to you in a dream, their words are never wasted, never casual, never small talk. In life, conversations wander. We ramble. We repeat ourselves. We hide feelings behind jokes, silence, or distraction. But in the dream state, in that shimmering borderland between worlds, a soul speaks with a clarity that feels almost supernatural. Because it is. The messages are short because they are pure. Cayce said the energy required for a soul to send a clear message across dimensions is immense, not difficult, but focused, like a laser beam cutting through fog. So when you hear a loved one speak in a dream, notice how the words come. Clean, precise, direct, almost glowing. Often just a sentence or two. But those sentences can shape your entire life. Why their words are so limited and so powerful. Cayce revealed 3 reasons why souls communicate in such brief, unforgettable lines. 1. The soul speaks only what you are ready to receive. A departed loved one won't overwhelm you. They won't give you information you can't process. They won't burden you with cosmic truths you aren't prepared for. They deliver exactly the message your heart is capable of absorbing in that moment. No more. No less. This is why so many dream messages sound like, I'm okay. Let go. I love you. Keep going. You weren't at fault. I'm still with you. Simple words, but they enter your soul like seeds and grow exactly when you need them. 2. The dream state distills emotion into language. In waking life, we explain our feelings. In dreams, they become the language. When your mother says, I'm proud of you, the words are not just spoken, They vibrate through your entire being with the full emotional weight she could never articulate on Earth. When a departed child says, "I'm safe," you don't hear safety. You feel it saturating your chest. Like a warm sunrise. Their words don't carry meaning. They are meaning. 3. They know you will remember every syllable. Cayce said, "A message delivered in the dream state imprints itself on the soul." This is why dream messages stay with you for decades. You remember the exact tone, the exact expression, the exact phrasing, even if the rest of the dream fades away. Because that was the moment. Their soul reached yours in a way your waking mind could not block. And that moment changes you. There is another reason their messages feel so intense, something Cayce described as the merging of fields. When a loved one speaks to you in a dream, your energy field overlaps with theirs just enough to let emotion, memory, and meaning flow freely between you. That merging is why their voice sounds unbelievably clear, their presence feels more real than reality. Their words echo in your chest for days. You are not just hearing them. You are remembering them soul to soul. Edgar Cayce said something breathtaking, something so simple, yet so universe-shaking that most people overlook its power. A departed loved one does not visit your dreams to remind you of death. They visit to remind you of life. Let that settle into you for a moment. Because everything you've heard so far, the symbols, the sensations, the words, the presence, is leading to one final truth Cayce revealed about what a soul is really trying to communicate when it enters your dreams. It is not random. It is not symbolic poetry. It is not just memory. It is their last undiluted message to you, their highest truth, their highest love, their highest hope. And Cayce said it always falls into one of 3 sacred purposes. 1. They come to release you from guilt and pain. This is the message people resist the most. Cayce found that nearly every grieving person carries hidden guilt. I should have done more. I should have been there. I should have stopped it. I should have said the right words. But in the dream state, your loved one sees you clearly, not through your self-punishment, but through the wholeness of your soul. They come to say, the pain you carry is not your burden. Let it fall. You are forgiven. Because there is nothing to forgive. That is why their touch feels warm, why their eyes look brighter than when they were alive, why their presence makes you cry without knowing why. They are not asking you to remember them with suffering. They're asking you to release your suffering in their name. 2. They come to give you the guidance they couldn't give in life. Cayce explained that the moment a soul leaves the body, its perception expands instantly. They see the truth of their own life. They see the truth of yours. They see where your path bends, where your heart hesitates, where your soul is meant to grow. So when they appear in your dreams saying, "Go, stay, try again," you're stronger than you think. You're not alone. They're not guessing. They know. They're offering the wisdom they never had the clarity or courage to give you when they were alive. And this is why their dream visits come during crossroads, uncertainties, breakdowns, decisions. They come not to haunt your path, but to help shape it. 3. They come to tell you something most people never hear in their lifetime. Cayce said this is the deepest message of all. Love is the only thing you take with you and the only thing you return for. Your loved one does not visit your dreams to remind you that they are gone. They visit to remind you that nothing real was ever lost. Not the bond, not the connection, not the meaning, not the love. Every time they step into your dreams, they are saying, our story didn't end. It simply changed form. I am with you still in the ways that matter most. And that, according to Cayce, is the greatest truth the physical world hides from us. The final message Cayce wanted you to understand, he said that dream visitations are not the past. They are not memories resurfacing. They are active relationships continuing. Your loved one is not drifting away into some distant light. They're leaning toward you, reaching toward you, speaking in the only language that crosses realms, the language of soul to soul. So tonight, when you close your eyes and your mind quiets and the veil thins, don't be surprised if someone steps into the doorway of your dreams with a message you didn't know you needed but have been waiting your whole life to hear. They are not gone. They never were. They have simply moved to a place where love is easier to deliver and harder to ignore. And now, you know how to listen.